Hello folks, it is time for some more hobby nightmares. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful week. Let's jump into our first hobby nightmare of the day. And it is from Tom. How's it going, dude? He says, "Hello, I wish to keep my name redacted in case the people I will talk about watch these videos. So, call me Tom for this, I suppose. Okay. Sorry in advance for any grammar or spelling errors. And here is my story. I used to watch Twitch stream. I used to Twitch stream my mini painting and was doing quite well. Okay, cool. Those of you who do that, by the way, you stream your mini painting on Twitch. How do you do? You know, like what kind of equipment do you need? Like what kind of things do you like to do on there? Because I don't know. It's never something that I've really watched or really wanted to watch. But you know, yeah, pull me in. Let me know what's going on. I was pulling in close to 100 to 150 viewers a night back in 2016 into 2017, and every night I was live painting. But this is where the nightmare starts. There was a group of people, 4 of them, all YouTubers, who would pull in a lot of views to their videos for painting. Which is great, no hate for that at all. I was painting on Twitch for months now, probably a good 3 to 4 months, and was already bringing in 100 plus viewers. I know that's not too much, and I'm not the best painter, attached to some work from that time, and some work that I finished. Wolfen, then Shrine now. But anyway, okay, let's see. You got a Shrine here that I'm going to download, and a Wolfen. Alright, let's do it. I mean, obviously I hear the word Wolfen and I go, ugh, you know. But it is what it is. Here's your Shrine. Dude, these are all so zoomed in. Look at the size of it. That's what she said. Let me just do this. Dude, guys, when you send me these, can you at least try? This is like, I don't need to see your model's nose hairs. Like, what is this? Look at this. What's even? We're halfway. Look at this. Not even halfway down. My God. There we go. Now we can see the model. Okay, this is a Trench Crusade model. Alright, cool. Fine. Looks great, man. Looks great. I'm gonna put the Wolfen on because, like, hopefully it's not as zoomed in, so I don't need to spend half the video. There we go. Good lad. Good lad. Look at that. Straight away. Nicely done. Nicely painted, too. I'll put the Games Workshop one in front of the Trench Crusade one. You can read into that what you will. Moving on. Alrighty. Their painting group, let's call it the Extended War, quote-unquote, never live-streamed their painting on Twitch, but people certainly knew who they were. One day, I came home from my job and saw this new streamer whom I recognised from watching on YouTube for some tips and tricks on painting minis. They were live with close to 400 plus viewers, which was massive for the time on the Twitch mini painting section. I thought it was cool at first. Well, I ate dinner, sat down for my normal schedule to go live. I clicked the start streaming button. When I go live, it would roughly take 5 minutes, and 50 people were in my chat already saying hi or talking with each other. I saw in 5 minutes, only 5 viewers appeared, and I was like, strange. Well, this Extended War streamer was live for the first time, so they are saying hi or talking with each other. Maybe it's because of that. Maybe they are all over there watching him paint instead, I said to myself. It is what it is. Viewers are excited for them to be live for the first time, and they are all just watching him. And things should kind of go back to normal after a few days. But I was worried and thought, hey, maybe they will raid or host me at the end of their stream, considering I'm getting very well known on this space. But that never happened that night. Okay. But after weeks go by, my views, which was always pushing around 100 plus, never returned. Every night for weeks, 2 to 5 viewers were watching and my chat was empty. Nobody was watching me anymore. This group would piggyback streams off of their group, and one streamer would start streaming around 12 PM, then the next streamer would go live about 30 minutes before the first one would end their stream, and get raided by the first one to go live. And the next streamer in the group would do the same, and so on and so on. Never sending a raid or hosting anybody else in the space who was already established in the space of Twitch. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say this, mate. And neither should they, right? They've got their own group. their own people, their own business. They don't owe you views, man. They don't know who you are. They couldn't give... how far are we in the video? Can I swear yet? Yeah, they couldn't give less of a shit. And neither should they. Neither should they. You're just some dude on Twitch. Now, does this suck for you? Yes, absolutely. Again, you're tugging at my own heartstrings as being a YouTuber. I know how this feels, right? I'm grateful for the fact that one or two other people do Hobby Nightmare-like content, but it's not in a raw format, and it's always stuff that they've just pulled from Reddit, right? It's not stuff straight from the horse's mouth. The one thing we have on Hobby Nightmares is, one, you got me, which is, a blessing and a curse, I suppose. But number two is it's straight from you. You guys send me Hobby Nightmares, and I just read them out. I don't troll the internet for them. I don't read Reddit for them, right? It's not just, this isn't like third-hand stuff. Like, it's all stuff that I can quantifiably email back and say, hey, sources, please. Or, hey, And we've actually caught people out. And that's one thing that I think people like about Hobby Nightmares. When people have written into the show and lied, they've been found out. Almost immediately, they've been found out. Where people go, oh, whoa, that's not how it happened at all, right? Doesn't happen on other channels because they pull their stuff from Reddit and things like that. So it's very hard to verify, very hard to get to the bottom of who's right and who's wrong. So yeah, it's more raw that way. But I do get what you mean. I get worried sometimes too when other people doing Hobby Nightmare-like content. I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go, right? I don't really edit my videos because I do 5 or 6 videos a week. That's the trade-off I've done. Is I do 5 to 6 videos a week, but that means I can't edit. There's too many videos to edit. I can't edit, right? Even if I had an editor, I would have to pay so much money to get all 5 videos or 6 videos a week edited. Dude, it wouldn't be worth doing. Like, it just literally... So, it works for us, right? But other people editing their videos means they can only do 1 video every couple of weeks. With me, it's like a constant stream of content. It's always coming out. Anyway. So I get what you're saying. But also, other people don't owe you views or a livelihood. They're there to look after themselves. And bitching about it isn't great. I bet if you went to these people and said, listen, I'm a young streamer. I was doing really well before you guys turned up. Would you guys mind hosting me or one of my streams at some stage? I bet they would have gone, yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? No problem. Yeah, we'll send a raid your way. No problem. Or we'll shout you out in our videos. You network, dude. What you're doing is you're bitching at me. You network. You talk to these people. Most people on the internet or on YouTube are nice. And they'll go, yeah, sure. Right? I never thought a Voldemort or well, I've only spoken to Voldemort like twice, I think. Or Amber King or any Outer Circle or any of those dudes would give me the time of day. They've been on my channel multiple times. They'd come on. Yeah, I'll have a chat with you. It's fun, Like, it got to the point with Amber King where he got really busy, and we had to stop doing videos because, like, we would be on the phone for like 4 hours, just chatting. The people are nice, especially in the Warhammer sphere. Like, just reach out, say hello. Anyway, I got discouraged, so I quit. I gave up due to what this group had done to the space, and I was the only one there where at least 6 or 7 others who were affected by this, and they painted on the regular, and we all knew each other, and we would bring the same views and raid around, etc. We respected each other, but we were not really Twitch streaming group. Okay, then maybe you should have been. Right? Maybe get a conglomerate together and support each other. When I was painting on Twitch, it was just... Sorry, you've cobbled together all of this into one big gloop of words. So it's... When I was painting on Twitch, it was just us 6 to 7 people who would stream. Then, Extended War came in and destroyed the space, it felt. So after I quit painting on Twitch, I pretty much was so bitter that I stopped painting altogether, pretty much leaving the hobby that I loved since the start of 5th edition. I am now in 2025, I'm getting back into the hobby, and I've dusted off my unpainted pile, and I've just been painting in my free time, getting them back to where I can start playing again, and now I'm exploring new tabletop wargames like Trench Crusade and One Page Rules, a GDF. I've also now have a 3D printer, and I've been enjoying the hobby again. Maybe one day I'll return to painting minis again, only time will tell. I hope this has all made sense. I'm not the best at writing this stuff out. That's alright, man. It's okay. It's alright. And I was wrong to quit, But I was wrong to quit. I was wrong to stop my hobby because... sorry, this is a question. But was I wrong to quit? Was I wrong to stop my hobby just because of what happened? Yes. Yes. You were wrong to stop Twitch streaming, dude. Never mind stop your hobby. Right? You gave up. Listen. The best content out there, something that I've learned, is not written and done because you need to say something. It's because you have something to say. Do you know what I mean? The videos that always perform the worst on my channel are on the quiet weeks, where I'll do a 40k rant that I'm doing because I have an idea spreadsheet, right, of video ideas. I know as soon as I have to dip onto that spreadsheet, the video isn't going to do very well. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm writing that script and recording that video to fill a content day, rather than, because I don't want to let anyone down, rather than saying something that I actually really want to say because I'm passionate about it. Now, I certainly have opinions on the things I'm talking about. Like Tuesday's video this week, yesterday's video was one of those days. I went to the cinema with my missus, and I didn't need to look at how the video was doing. I knew how it was going to do. I knew it wasn't going to do very well in terms of numbers, right? Because it was a video that I'd had on the back burner for a while, and I wasn't so passionate about it. It was a thing that I wanted to say, sure, but I wasn't, like, raring to go. I had nothing else to do that day, so I thought, you know what, I'll just come on and I'll answer this question, right? And it'll be cool. And it was cool. It was a good video, but it didn't do very well, because people can sense. They can sense when you're at it and when you're not, and I wasn't at it, you know? So the best content always comes from, you know that phrase where, you know, a fool talks because he wants to talk, and a wise man talks because he has something to say, right? That's exactly the same with YouTube. All of my really good videos that have done bonkers numbers are all videos where I've had something to say, and I've gone for it, and both barrels. I've got one on Thursday coming up, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to go at it both barrels, right? It's going to be a good one. But there are other videos where it's just not that way. So this is what I mean. You should have stuck with it, because getting views on Twitch, you're making next to no money anyway. So why are you bothered about numbers then? Why care? Do it because you enjoy doing it and you have something to say. Don't do it because the numbers make your feels good, right? That's what I'm saying anyway. He says, I think about this event a lot and it sucks. My lady all the time tells me I need to go live on Twitch and I need to paint my minis. I need to go live on Twitch and need to paint my minis. Yeah, she's right. I need to play 40k, but what happened left a sour taste in my mouth. It felt like they just wanted to be on top without considering who was already there. But I'm finally getting renewed in the hobby, so who knows if I'll be alive again. Sorry, or just keep it to myself. Well, thanks for reading and posting these videos and allowing people to vent their stories. Thanks, Tom. Alright, cool, man. Yeah, dude, like, you took this way too personally. They probably don't know you exist, and they didn't do it in any sort of maliciousness. Never attribute something to maliciousness that you can just attribute to being ignorant of a situation, you know? I just go back on Twitch, man. Literally, like, go have fun. Go have fun. No one cares. No one cares. You're going to make next to no money. It's Twitch. Only the top guys make enough money on Twitch to have a living. So if you're not doing that, then why care? If not eating into your living, why care? You know? If somebody did that for my channel, yeah, I would have a grievance, because I'd be like, yeah, you're now eating into the money I have every single month. So go fuck yourself. You know, that kind of a thing. But like, no, dude, just do it because you enjoy it. And people will come. And if they don't, who cares? You're still getting your painting done. You're still talking to 4 or 5 cool people on stream. Who cares? You know? Anyway, moving on. Oh, do you want me to use your real name? I don't know. You've not told me in the first couple of lines or in your subject, so I'm going to call you Andy because that's who you are. All right? So, hello, Andy. Hi, North. Big fan of the channel. It always helps me get through the ironing and mundane chores and gives me a laugh. I've got a couple of hobby nightmares from a small land called Northern Ireland, but today's one is a mini drama. I fell out of Warhammer for quite a few years due to party time and bar work, standard. Spend around 10 years living in the capital, partying every day and after work. When COVID hit, I was shocked to find out I had a bit of a drinking problem, and coincidentally had just turned 30, so I decided to try and look after myself. Unfortunately, all my friends were party animals, and when I tried to find things to do with them that wasn't boozing and clubbing, the phone stopped ringing. Dude. Right in the feels. A lot of lads, like, now are nodding along, right in the feels. We've all had friends like that. As soon as you, like, want to be a bit more disciplined and say, hey, do you want to go for a coffee or a board game night or something like that, rather than, like, going out and getting smashed and chasing tail, they just stop returning your calls. Right? One thing I've noted, like, if any of you lads are struggling for motivation of something to do you know the movie Fight Club? Right? It gets a lot of things wrong, in my opinion, even though it's a very funny movie. It gets a few things wrong. But one of the things it gets right, do you know when the lads who are going to Fight Club start looking after themselves because they want to look good when they go to Fight Club, right? Even if they don't fight, they want to look good, they want to look nice, right? They start working out and stuff. That's A1. Like, it does work. If you've got something that you want to do. So, I just signed up for professional wrestling training because it's something that I've always wanted to do. And I've been very, very motivated over the past week to basically get to the gym, do weights, do cardio, eat well, right? And I've lost around 6 pounds in a week, right? My shoulders, my arms are looking a lot more toned. My chest is a lot more toned. I'm working my way downwards, right? I'm looking good. And I've got like 3 months until training starts. Is it 3 months? Yeah, 3 months in November. I've got 3 months until training starts, for where I'm there every single Saturday, all day, for 7 weeks, before I can start doing matches and stuff, right? So, you know, it's going to be a big thing that I'm looking forward to, that I really want to do. And I've aimed for that, and I need to get my body in shape for that, and I'm on course, and things are going well. That's the thing you should do too. Find something you want to do with your body. It could be a triathlon, it could be boxing training, it could be professional wrestling like mine, or it could be whatever you want to do. It could be MMA even, right? And you don't need to fight, by the way. When you're doing boxing, MMA, martial arts, pro wrestling, whatever you're doing, you don't need to go and perform in front of people. Okay? I'm not even sure if I will or not. I probably won't. But I'm not, unless I really take to it, I will. I'm going there to get a sweat on. I'm going there to work out and to learn a skill that I don't have. So I can look at the guys on TV and go, I've done that. I know how that feels. Right? I know that. Right? That kind of a thing. I always wanted to give it a go, and I'm going to give it a go. Have work towards something. Like going to the gym every single day, it's great, but men need an end goal. You know, women tend to be able to, I don't know why, they tend to be able to just go in and do it for the feels, just go in and do it because it makes them feel good. Men need that goal to reach. They need that horizon to go, bring me that, dude, I'm going to go get that, right? And when you've gotten there, what's next? You got to look for the next thing. So try and compartmentalize going to the gym and stuff around that. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked there, but what you said rang a bell there. So, anyway. Having to reset your entire cultivated friend network after a decade was not easy, but I started with Age of Sigmar, only because there were no legit fantasy games at that moment. I knew hobbying was a great alternative to finding a non-weird way to socialise without playing football or clubbing, and sure enough, after 6 painstaking months of painting on my own, dreaming of playing with my goblins, sorry, touch my goblin, dreaming of playing with my goblins, a dude pops up on my community Facebook page. We'll call him Paul. We got together. He's doing Lumineth, and I'm doing Gloomspite. As a huge fan of the Battle of Skull Pass, etc., I don't mind being on the receiving end of a shafting because it was thematic, and it was somebody to hang out with after all. The silly game started to start, like I bought a new model, he bought the legit counter to it, things like that. Coincidence? Possibly. Then, there was some famous meta stuff, like the 30 Archer block, which hitch on 2s and with mortals and stuff. I forget the specifics because it was a year or so ago, but it was famous because they could shoot the range of the battlefield. and things started to get a little tense. I eventually suggested we find other folks to play with after a while, because it was just matched play, and it was semi-amusing because I would really only bring a mix of everything so it looked like a horde, and still pull out wins 40 to 50% of the time, which I could tell was stressing this dude out. Yeah, if he's like bringing down like Apex stuff to you and you're still winning like half the games, I imagine it's going to get annoying. When we expanded to a hobby shop, because I ended up friendly with the owner, we kicked off a Path to Glory campaign at the lowest possible points, with some dudes in there. There was your usual problem of one dude spending 300 out of a possible 500 points on a named character, because they were the best thing in the battle tome. But okay, whatever. Another dude was a mad rush player and would come in with 6 of the same thing and table new players on turn 1 and get loads of buffs for his list, etc. as he went along, and they wouldn't come back the next week. Okay, sure, but there was enough of us meeting about and on the same page, the group sort of split in two between that group and the normal group. Alright. But the main fall off for group 2 was when Paul fought the dinosaur guy. The owner of the shop, nicest man on the planet, a very experienced at Age of Sigmar, was that guy. Paul brought his girlfriend down to watch because he was 4-0 at this point and presumed there was another shafting in the works. But his dice failed him and the dino dude got prehistoric on his ass and tabled him. He actually had to leave the building for 5 to 10 minutes at one point, leaving his girlfriend with us. He was so upset. He was about 29 to 32 years old, by the way. Oh my god. Dude, not in front of your girl. Don't do it. Anyways, after that, he stopped coming regularly and started going to a competitive club at their end of the island. Fair enough. I felt sad because we had spent so much time together and he was my first real friend in so long, but he just didn't seem interested in what me and the bringing Zangors for fun bros were at. I like that terminology. The bringing Zangors just for fun bros. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Because they are awful. Fast forward a year, he randomly reaches out and asks if I'm going to the club. I say yes, and it'd be amazing to see you again. He lives near me, but we've not kept in touch at all. He offered me a lift to the club and everything. I tell him I've got dwarfs now, but rather than again going in on everything, I've just got a smattering of the range so I can see what everything does. He says we don't need to share lists, and he would see me on Sunday for a fun catch-up game. The car ride was really nice and we chatted, and it just felt like the first time we hung out again, just like old times. Upon arrival, he started taking stuff out of his case. My mate, let's call him Wade, immediately commented on what he was seeing. 30 of the archers, a named hero who was at the point semi-invisible, the purple son of Shaiish when it was famously broken, and another endless spell to stop you moving. I thought nothing of it and just unpacked my one dragon thing and my naked dwarves, only for Wade to basically said, I haven't seen you in a while, I take it you don't ever want to play anyone ever again then? Is this what your mate's saying to your other mate? Yeah, because this is poorly explained. So, your Wade is looking at your friend here, who's taking out his big stuff. Alright. He says, haven't seen you in a while, mate. I take it you don't ever want to play anyone ever again then? As a veteran, he was making an assessment that this list was a lesson. Paul explained that this was his list for the Northern Ireland Championship, in which he had been training for to possibly represent us in Europe. I then went white and explained to both Paul and Wade that I was not made aware of this was a championship build, but I do have some models that can be put into a mini meta army, but I have no idea, so I just brought trash. Paul immediately rolled off for deployment, ignoring what I'd said. As you can imagine, the battle was extremely intense and overall quite unpleasant. I made a mistake by now doing something in my command phase, but I had begun my movement phase and said, sorry, I've not moved anything yet, do you mind if he does his prayer? It's super important. And Paul said, I don't, but the rules do. Alright, so he's saying, I don't mind, but the rules do mind. This is a clash of styles, dude. This is just a massive, big old Clash of Styles. I'm going to put some of your models on here because you've asked me to later on in the email. This is just a atypical hobby nightmare where you literally should not be playing each other. You guys get along in the real world, and that's fine. And it really sucks when you're getting along in the real world and all that kind of stuff, and you have this hobby in common. So really, you should really get along with each other and have fun, but you just don't gel in that way. You don't gel with all of your friends in exactly the same way. And that sounds odd, but you can have a friend who you love going out drinking with, you love partying with, he's one of your bros, and he gets into Warhammer 40,000. And you're thinking, great, this is going to be awesome. But then all of a sudden, you play, or you talk about it with him, and you don't gel at all. I was friends with a guy at university who I'd go out drinking with all the time, super nice guy, all going well. But as soon as you played 40k with him, we just didn't gel at all. We got on each other's nerves, didn't like each other in the game, so we stopped playing each other, right? And it was hard. I stopped the hobby altogether because he was quite big in the local scene in my university town. So I stopped the hobby. I was like, yeah, do you know what? He's always going to be there, and we will end up playing each other because it's the polite thing to do. Do you know what I'm saying? You will end up playing your friend because you don't want to say I don't want to play you because he's your friend. So you will always end up playing each other. So I just stopped going. I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm not going to do this because we're going to end up being not friends and it's going to suck and I don't want him to ruin my hobby, so I'll just step aside. I'll step aside and I'll do the hobby when I go home. You know? That kind of a thing. It's a really awkward situation to be in when you really like the guy elsewhere and other people like him in the hobby, by the way. It's not like he's a hobby nightmare. Other people kind of like him in the hobby. It's just he doesn't gel with you. It sucks, man. It really does. Anyway. I knew he was trying to send some kind of message to me and the nerds at the club, but as I discovered at a few tourneys, I'm actually quite good at the game. Same with 40k. Things like positioning, good rules recall, and knowing most of my enemies' abilities, blah blah blah. But I play with trash lists for model variety, so the sweet nectar when he asked me to take back on turn 5 after forgetting to move his endless spell, that made the difference for a win and a draw, and sadly, well, I mean, I would have let him take it back, and let him take it back no bother, but the rules, you see, the rules say no. Wade actually cheered on hearing the result as he did his table. He awkwardly drove me home after that, and I never saw him again. I think he came 37th out of the 40 players for the qualifiers. I do miss the early days, but now me and Dinosaurs Man just throw down 40k on the regular at my gaff. Some photos are included for your perusal. Thank you. Hope it was interesting. I'm a Thousand Suns player, by the way. My mate is a Krieg player. Cool. So this was cool, man. I mean, I got a bit confused with the names there. But your friend was called Paul, who kept coming to the who was the qualifier, the tournament guy, and Wade was the guy who was trying to be on your side there. Okay, a bit more context would be grand in future. But anyway, moving on. I said all I need to say about it. Yeah, it does suck when your friend isn't wanting to be there. It does seem like your friend wanted to be super, shall we say, competitive, but didn't really have the chops for it. But anyway, moving on. Caveman is next. Hey, Caveman. How's it going? He says, hello, North. Please call me Caveman. His school nickname that I kind of liked. In my club, we are the jack-of-all-trades wargamers. Never really consistently playing anything. However, I like MESBG. What is that? Middle-earth strategy battle game? Alright, please don't use things like that. I forget what they're called. Not euphemisms. You know what I mean? With the letters instead of the words. For your first one in every single Hobby Nightmare, say Middle-earth strategy battle game. Like I don't know what it is, right? And then after that, then call it MESBG. Not everybody... was one thing I really hated about working in the hobby is jargon. Please stop using jargon around, because we don't know who is watching and who isn't. So just let me know what we're talking about here. So, however, I like Middle-earth strategy battle game. So, I go to a lot of tournaments to play, as only a few members that I know actually play it. I've been listening to you a lot lately, and I've really enjoyed your takes, and you've given me a different outlook on life and wargaming. Well, thank you, man. Awesome. I'm writing to you to share my story and get your take on it. In this story, though, I am the monster. If you read through this, I have a couple of stories at the end to make you laugh, alright? This began, if I remember correctly, in 2022. I had recently made a comeback to the Middle-earth strategy battle game tournament scene a few months prior and was invited to a sort of games day where we would just play who was there on the day. No competition or points, just for fun. I turned up and met the guy who invited me and got chatting for 5 minutes, and then the store owner turned up asking for somebody to play and to play a newbie. Why would you want to play a new guy? Why would the store owner want to play a new guy? I played this guy a couple of times with my Iron Hills against his Mordor force. If I remember correctly, I allowed this guy to do things that you just shouldn't when teaching a newbie. I let him march his troll army halfway across the board and then slaughtered it. I remember thinking, why is he doing that? I let him piecemeal his army at me in the second and ripped through it. I won both games handily. I never gave advice unless prompted and didn't really explain my army clearly until my rule popped up that advantaged me. As I was leaving, I saw him painting some models not too far away from me from the register, and I stopped to talk to the store manager. He called over to the guy, asking how it went. He sort of shrugged and sighed and said, in a defeated tone, "Yeah, good, I guess." I walked away feeling kind of bad. I later asked the manager how he was, and he said those were his second and third games, and I felt like a complete arsehole. I thought he had played more. It's only now I started thinking about it again after listening to your other newbie 40k player nightmares. Dude, yeah, you're a bit of a nightmare, not gonna lie. Right, so this guy walked in asking if somebody want to play a newbie. Right, so your store manager asked who wants to play the newbie, and you said yes, me. And then you just decimated him. Yeah, I can understand why you feel bad. Because it's the fact that you didn't call out what your army did. That's bad etiquette in a normal game. Never mind a game with a newbie. Never mind a game with a new person. Do you know what I'm saying? In a game with a normal person, I expect you to tell me at least once what your army does. Okay? Like, just at the start of a game. And then it's up to me. It's on me then, right? But, like, to not say anything until it comes up, that's a bit of a dick move. Even in a normal game. You know? With a newbie, yeah, that's kicking a guy when he's already down. You know what I mean? That's like being in like a boxing fight with a dwarf and then just booting him in the face. Yeah, there's no need. There's no need. Now to make you laugh. This first story is from my Hobbit competition, and it was a doubles tournament. War in Rohan themed. I managed to get on the team when this other guy's teammate couldn't make it. He's a YouTuber also. We had brought Rohan, obviously. It was a 2-dayer, and on the first day, we didn't need any models at all. He had brought enough for the 1,000 point list, so I kept him in my case. At the end of the day, I had noticed my case moved a few feet away. I didn't think anything of it, as it was a couple of feet away from where I'd put it, and assumed that it had been moved to clear some space. As we put our stuff around the tables, so I took it at home and left it there about an hour's drive away. It wasn't until setting up the next day I heard somebody was looking for their models. Anyway, I kept setting up whilst they rummaged. Not 2 minutes later, they stopped everybody and asked. It was a father and son duo, and the father said they may have put them in the wrong case, but they had the same Citadel case as me. I put my hand up and told them I may have them at home, and rung my mother. Yes, I live with my parents. And sure enough, the elves had sneaked into my case. Luckily enough, the shop had an employee travelling around town from where I lived and was able to pick them up for me. It was just a ridiculous situation. The father was constantly blaming the son, calling him a muppet. We sorted out who's who, and that was that. That's so harsh. It's his fault, bloody muppet. Dude, that's your son. Story number 2. This was 7 or 8 years ago now. In my club, there are a bunch of old guys. I've always been the youngest. This was the second and last time I've ever played 40k, but I love Dawn of War and the setting in general. We played 2nd edition, and that's the one that we all enjoyed. I used some Katachan Guard, borrowed from my father that he has now given me, as I love Imperial Guard. I had 2 Lehman Russ tanks, 4 squads of Guard, a commander, and 1 or 2 commissars, and a squad of sentinels. In this game, I was matched against jump pack Blood Ravens and a funny little thing called a virus grenade. Now, I'm not sure if you know how they are, but they are lots of fun. I got the first turn, moved forward, and shot. Then my opponent's turn came. He moved forward and threw the grenade. I blinked. Now I only have 1 Lehman Russ tank left. Holy crap, it was as funny as it was tragic. Even if they survived, the guy next to them coughed a bit and they all died again. No masks. No gas masks. Hope I made you laugh, as this had made me laugh. Thanks for reading, Caveman. Yeah, dude, like, the rules in 2nd edition could get that like that. It's not like modern 40k at all. I remember a Inquisitor Valeria had a grenade, a stasis grenade, that she could just put somebody in her box. You know, not that. No, not like that. I mean, like in a grenade like prism. You know, you get sucked into it and that's it. And she could do it like Imperial Titans and things. It didn't matter what it was. I think it's like a 3+. A 3 tough and a 3+ and then a leadership check. If they fail leadership check, they're gone. Doesn't matter how many wounds they have, what it is. It could be a tank, it could be a Titan, it could be anything. It's gone. It's in the box. Dude, older editions with cool rules like that. Do you guys have any rules like that you remember from back in the day that you would love to see in 40k again? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be back tomorrow with some more 40k rantage. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Have a good one. Bye now.